Kevin, we're almost to the season. How you feeling about year two and a full off season under your belt?
Feeling good. Feeling more comfortable than I was last year. Just I think a lot of the unknowns aren't quite as unknown, and obviously love our team and just honestly ready to play.
Biggest change might be personally. You had a fourth child, a second daughter. Congratulations on the baby. How's everything going?
Thank you. No, it's going well. Yeah, baby's doing great. Mom and I are figuring it out, after a decent hiatus of having young kids. So, things are good.
How does that affect you as a coach? Because certainly you might have a little less sleep at this point, I imagine. The diaper game back in the swing?
I think guys and coaches might say I'm a little bit more ornery, a little bit more on edge. Yeah, try not to affect it too much. But honestly, it puts things into perspective. I was joking with the players the other day. There was one of the nights I had the babies by myself. My wife had some complications, so she was actually in the hospital. She's okay. But 10-day-old baby and me all night was stressful, and I told her, hey, when you got a little one just screaming bloody murder, it puts things into perspective as far as what stress actually looks like.
And then there's basketball, a fun game that we get here. But you guys played out in Nebraska. I know your wife's from that area, and you guys wanted to experience a road environment. Did you accomplish those things?
Yeah, we accomplished that for sure. I mean, it was a great venue. I'd never actually been inside of that venue. It's a really good venue, really good coach, and Fred Hoiberg. They ran good stuff. We were banged up, and so we had to make a choice on how we were going to sub it. Rob only played 16 minutes, and so we decided to just play the starters together, knowing that there would be some consequences because of that. So we got some good, useful things out of the game. Hopefully in this next exhibition game we'll have a little bit better bill of health so we can kind of make it look like and feel like more of a real game.
UNC, Friday in the Delta Center. That's an awesome matchup. First off, top 25. What do you hope to accomplish in that one?
Well, like I said, I mean, because we didn't really get to see what it really is going to feel like in the Nebraska game, we're hoping that, and it's trending this way, that we'll be more healthy so we can kind of – I really want to try to sub it the way we would do more of a real game and get lineup combinations that we'll know we're going to look at during the regular season. That's probably the first thing that's on my mind. And then just growing our chemistry, both on both ends of the floor. I think we're trying to do a little bit more defensively this year in terms of scheme. That takes more communication. And so to do it in what I'm sure is going to be a loud environment against obviously a really, a talented group will be, it'll be, I think, just what we need.
What do you want to do schematically on defense that you're referring to?
Well, I think just being able to we found some success last year towards the end of the year with doing some stuff that we hadn't done for the good majority of the year, so dipping into that, but then being able to, pull levers on different, switching, not switching, throw out some different coverages that maybe we couldn't do last year because of personnel concerns. And then having, which sounds great in an interview, but can you actually get that done when a game's running around 100 miles an hour? And so, being able to, change things, when can we change it, what can these guys actually absorb and be able to execute, that's all still stuff we're learning about.
You talked about how you wanted to get kind of longer and more athletic, year over year. Do you feel like you did that with this personnel group?
I do feel like we've gotten longer. I mean, obviously AJ helps, and he's going to be out there a lot. Kennard Davis is a guy who can really guard. He gives us some good, I don't know if length, but just he's a grown man out there. And then off the bench for sure. I mean, Hadim and Bop come in, and he's really given us a spark, with his, motor, and he's, 6'9", 6'10", long. There's some other guys who I could go down the list. I won't go through every guy, but we're definitely longer. Now it's a matter of, okay, like I said before, who's going to play with who, what combinations do we like, and that's exciting for us to mess around with that kind of stuff.
How's the health of the team at this point?
It's serviceable, I would say. We're Dawson Baker's getting closer. Tyler Morris is hopeful to play and probable to play in the Carolina game. Rob's kind of getting past his deal. A few other guys that are a little farther out, but that Carolina game should feel a little bit better from a bill of health standpoint.
How'd you keep the assistant coaches this offseason? Because that's a big deal to have that continuity going into year two.
Yeah, it's a huge deal, and it was not without concern. I mean, there was some guys that were offered, some head coaching positions that they turned down to stick with us, which I feel fortunate about. I think it speaks, one, to just BYU. I think people like BYU. I think people like living in Provo. I think people really appreciate the amount of support that we get. get treated well, and obviously speaks to the talent that we have as well. You know, I think everybody was excited to work with this particular group, and you know, don't think that'll be the case every year where we get to keep all the coaches, because I'm hopeful and feel pretty confident that a lot of my staff will go on to be head coaches of their own, and that'll be exciting when that happens.
Kevin Young coaching tree will begin, right? The roots are right now. Is there a venue or a game in non-conference that you are particularly excited about? You've coached in NBA arenas, of course, before, but for these guys, that'll be a cool opportunity in big-time games in New York and Boston and Salt Lake and Orlando and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, obviously, this year. You know, you kind of hear the mystique of Madison Square Garden. I mean, that one, it's a unique place, just because it's in the heart of the city and just all the things that go with that. So I'm excited for that for our guys, but I think there's a number of them, but that one probably is the one that headlines it for me.
With UNC on the schedule and getting a blue blood like that and other UConn and Wisconsin and so on and so forth, what kind of challenges do you expect in non-conference that will prepare you for Big 12 play?
Well, I mean, last year we were able to kind of get through the non-conference without much of a challenge, and so I think that's just it, right? I don't know if there's any one specific thing other than just you're playing more talented teams, right, who I think athletically are going to be more in line with the types of teams we're going to have to beat if we want to do anything this year. So that's probably where my mind goes to, so it's really that two things. It's the size, the athleticism, and it's just the overall talent.
How do you figure out Richie's role in this offense, since it is a little different with a guy like AJ, and Rob Wright's a little different than Yegor was?
Yeah, I think, and this is what's beautiful about Richie is, you know, Richie doesn't necessarily need the ball in his hands to do what he does best, right? And this is why I know why all the NBA teams like him, is because that. I mean, you could put that guy on top 8 playoff teams in the NBA right now, he goes function just fine. He's going to make open shots. He's going to space the floor. You know, we're doing a little bit more stuff this year. We're moving him around a little bit without the ball, a little bit more, bringing him off some off-ball screening action. But I think it's more the chemistry of those guys playing together. And then, like I said before, is the lineup combinations, right? Like, I got to make sure I'm doing a good job of optimizing who plays well with who and so forth. That'll impact him a little bit, but on the whole, man, and I had just told this to the players, there's really that's a cultural thing. Like, that's not necessarily, there's no play for that, there's no drill for that. Like, we try to move the ball, we try to get the best shot, whether that's Richie Saunders, Dawson Baker, AJ DeBanza, Rob Wright. It is what it is, and if everyone kind of has that mindset, you can be a really good offensive team. What's the next step for AJ in his development? I think consistency, right? I think he does a lot of really good things, and now I'm on him about just doing it every single play. And in the two areas I'm really on him about in that space is playing defense and making a right read. He's so talented, he can kind of get where he wants, but he's going to see a ton of different coverages. He's going to see a bunch of different bodies, and can you make the right read is what I'm on him about, and can you do it consistently? And the defensive piece is, I mean, he has the ability to be, hands down the best defender in college basketball because of his length, his competitiveness, his intelligence, and when he does it, it looks incredible. And because we're asking him to do a lot of things offensively, you know, I think he takes, you know, you got to catch his breath sometimes, but I'm on him a lot about just consistently being able to be that guy. Well, we're stoked for the season, obviously. UNC on Friday, and the rest of the season, it's going to be awesome. Kevin, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.